what the people have to say. But tonight, I want us to start football sleep with the information that came in this evening, and because that was our top story at 9 p.m. on Weekend Prime, that Football Kenya Federation has suspended the president, rather the Football Kenya Federation National Executive Committee has suspended the president, that is Hussein Mohammed, as alongside the CEO, and of course, this is raising a lot of questions. Roger Sishtemi, let me begin with you. 42 million shillings, Chan scandal, Chan insurance scandal. And then today in the afternoon, we had the FKF Finance Committee coming out saying, you know what, there are things that are being done in the federation that we do not agree with. You know, things are being done and we are not being consulted. Funds are being moved, we are not being consulted. Then at around 6:30 p.m., that you know, report from the National Executive Committee comes out that we have suspended Hussein Mohammed for misappropriation of funds, of course, 42 million Chan insurance scandal, right there, story that we unearthed two days ago. And then after that, a few minutes ago, Hussein Mohammed has come out saying that, you know what, I'm still the president of FKF. And if I'm still and the reason I'm still the president of FKF is because there's a clause that I have to convene the NEC. Yeah. And if there are members in the NEC that feel that we should have an NEC, they should write to the president to tell him to convene the NEC. And he will do so in 21 days. I mean, it's been a roller coaster.
I think it was just a matter of time, because based on what has transpired the last few days, I think Kandanda House has been a divided house, so to say, because most of these members appear to have been maybe suffering in silence for a long period. They didn't have time, or rather the energy, to voice out their concerns anytime at all. And maybe they were just waiting for a moment to come, and boom, all these things are being unearthed. Unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of implication in regards to this scandal, and you know, looking at the bigger picture, it's going to affect a lot of things as far as Kenyan football is concerned. But now, maybe for the federation boss to be to found himself into this type of scandal is really, really saddening. Based on the fact that maybe when he came into power, many people had a lot of hopes into him because they thought maybe he's going to be the messiah of the Kenyan football. But what has happened the last few weeks, yeah, it is really, really maybe thing that many people don't expect it to happen. And also looking at what maybe had transpired prior to that, look, the cases of match fixing, maybe the case of maybe women football not giving them what they deserve, and all things related to that, as well as maybe what we call about the monies, the prize money for the women's teams, also maybe the FKF Premier League, the match fixing allegation, all those things have all been boiling down slowly. But at this particular moment, that's when all these were coming out and saying that indeed there are some issues need to be addressed as far as Kenyan football is concerned. And now all this back stops with Hussein Mohammed, who is the boss. He has to address these issues. Even maybe coming out with those responses here, there, and there, it won't help at the moment. Because remember yesterday, he came out with a short statement on social media that corruption is fighting back. And you know, that was maybe being directed maybe to his former CEO, that is Harold Ndege, who maybe they pushed him out, yeah. And you know, based on what maybe transpired, maybe there's likelihood maybe there was a misunderstanding between Harold and Hussein, because these were two very good friends for a very long period. We don't know where it went out for the two parties.
Sedo, do you feel like there's actually more than meets the eye? I mean, like, probably there are things that are happening at Kandanda House that we are not being told.
It draws the story of actually how we conducted our Chan. And all along there, you could see a body that was not really communicating with the same voice. It's only her that it was still new in the office, and so much that we couldn't actually unearth this particular thing. But still, when you're trying to join the dots, you could see a lot of gaps. And there after Chan, again, you see the same president who and again should be commanding the spaces, coming gun blazing actually against the CEO by then Haron Dege. So as to say, we could not, still we are doing our own investigation, and it's good luck enough that we have come to unearth it. But you could tell something that was being prepared, which and again might come to in the offing and maybe mess up us big, simply because all eye across the globe, not necessarily in Africa, were beaming on Kenya, given also that Kenya is an powerhouse of East Africa, and more so we are coming in as a Pamoja kind of any to host a CAF.
AFCON 2027.
It tells a story that if you want to land in East Africa, Kenyan name should not actually miss out. And I think even this one has made it much bigger. So as to say, when he really hosted the CEO, that's where the eyebrows now come clean to him. Why do you host a CEO that has now barely stayed in office for more than 3 years? And you have just come in? Why couldn't you, omitted him when you knew very well that you are going for this particular election? But thereafter he brought in a CEO, citing all manner of allegations against the outgoing CEO by then. So those allegations has come back to stab him. It's an two-edged kind of a sword, whereby the allegation actually he posed to us and made us think he's what actually now playing, and in a hard way into him. So coming here and trying to invoke clauses, because going by how he has come back to fight, he's invoking, I think, the Federation Constitution Article 38, Clause 2, which and again contradict to the other clauses that we had in the NEC had invoked. The same kind of article, 38, I think, was it? No, Article 1. So it tells a different mix-up kind of stories that they are trying to play a ball game. And remember, the evidence that we have just unearthed outside there, it's barely to each and every person's eye. As we are talking about figures, this is only 42 million that we have unearthed. Remember, there are so many billions that were flying right, left, center. The Kasarani, the stadia that were to upgraded, according to us, even as a lay people, we could not actually match them to the world-class standards. Remember, right now, when we beam our eyes on the Kasarani after uplift, you might think that this stadium was not done, anything was not done to that particular surface. Right now, as we speak, they will use the stadium which did not actually get such kind of magnitude in terms of fund, stands better in terms of the optical than the Kasarani. There are so many things that he need to come out. Even if he will try to remain in the office, I know he will just be messing as an extravaganza that we are preparing ourselves to come next year. But and again, we are so much eager to know that that extravaganza does not get spoiled or spill out of our hands, because it's something that we have been waiting for many years. And him also, he will not be hanging on, knowing that very well, Kenyans are not much interested in individuals. This federation is much bigger than an individual.
Yes, from 34B, ukiangalia easy allegations, you know, they say misappropriation of funds, serious breaches of Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act 2015, conflict of interest, and after that, you know, they passed that. You know, McDonald Mariga, you know, holds office in the acting capacity. Do you feel that there will be bad blood between the two? Because they came in together. And now one is being ousted. And remember, in that document that was sent, McDonald Mariga's signature was the first one.
Was the first to be there.
Yes. So do you feel like probably there's going to be bad blood?
I think it's not only with the vice president. I think it's also with the members. 9 out of 14 is not a small number. It goes to show that even the members are wondering what has been happening in the federation. There's something that Estemi has talked about. There was a lot of hope with the FKF president.
Well, they say it's the hope that kills,
and probably it is killing.
Yes,
because Sedo has put it right that Kenya saa hii mahali tumewekwa ni mahali ambapo there is a lot that is expected in matters to do with football in the country. It boils down to show the kind of crisis we have been having. It's like we have not even changed from what we had initially. We were having a lot of things. We went to the extent of being banned as a country from matters to do with football. Now again, conflict of interest is actually a very serious accusation.
Yes.
Because there is already a law even for the country about conflict of interest. And looking at how even the stadiums, the renovation and whatever happened, it tells that there is more
There's more.
There is
that
more
meets the eye.
that meets the
Hassan
eye,
Juma.
and I think
Yes.
it's going to create a very big division in the FKF.
Yes.
And we are going to see even more of some kind of split in that federation.
But there shouldn't be bad blood.
Sedo, before you give your thought, Hassan Juma, you've been in the game for a very long time, and you've seen different presidents of FKF, and it seems, you know, the circle repeats itself. I mean, you saw it with Nyamoya.
Sam Nyamoya.
Yes, and then came in Nick Mwendwa, and now we do have Hussein Mohammed. But the circle seems to be repeating itself. Yeah, because I remember when Nick Mwendwa came in, there was hope that, you know, things are going to change from the way they were being done by Nyamoya. Now we have Hussein, and when he came in, it was the phrase they used to use, fresh start.
Fresh start, yeah.
Fresh start. But it seems it's not a fresh start anymore, because we are going back to whatever we used to do. Yes.
Kwanza, I don't think there'll be bad blood between the president and his deputy.
Why not?
Why? Because I think it's just like how Kenya is. The constitution is very clear that if the president is incapacitated, is unable to, you know, discharge his duties, the deputy should just step in.
But the deputy is the first one who signed that. Yes.
Secondly, Hussein has a cabinet. The NEC members are just like a cabinet.
So if the cabinet hawakutaki,
9 out of 14.
Kama hakutaki, yeah, it's very simple, yeah, because I spoke to some of the officials. Wanasema, unajua, some of these allegations lazima peleke kotini yamuliwe and all that. But I'm sure NEC members, some of them were not consulted. Kwa hizi some of these issues ambazo zimekuwa raised.
So let me ask you, would you put your signature somewhere where you're not consulted?
I will it.
So they were consulted.
As long as you're not consulted, I'll be very far from.
What does it mean? Yes, 9 signed, the others who didn't sign. What does that mean?
You know, I was actually to come there, and it's good that he has come brought that conversation. Yes. You know, the idea is, before this document, I think the NEC had received their own document stipulating as per why they are arriving to this particular kind of decision.
Right.
And you go to that particular document, you realize that NEC has been actually pressed for a very long period of time, because what they were telling us, once an executive that does not actually execute their mandate as per the Federation Constitution does not even make that executive members to feel kind of like they are ready there to work with the president. And if you go by the document they released before this one came out, you could tell that they have been just holding their horses. They knew very well this is not a president we can work with, but they are waiting for that period of time again to come. These allegations has just given them an impetus to come out there and execute what they have been waiting for. So as to say, this president, for a very long period of time, he has been calling it the shots alone. He has been reorganizing himself, because the financial stature that they keep on mentioning is what actually revolves around what is happening within the circle of football in Kenya. It's all about financial that we are heading towards CAF. It's all about financial that we are preparing our stadium. It's all about financial that we hosted Chan. So if they say that they were actually put aside or outside the financial parameters, and these are the executive member who should actually be overseeing and ensuring that things are working, then that one tells you a president that was not in hold of his house. And this was just a matter of time before they also. Those 9 out of 14, those are the people that have faced it the rough within the
you know, Ruby, it's interesting because
the Hussein's era.
Sedo, it's interesting because this is coming at a time when most of these NEC members, you know, were incorporated in the new LOC for AFCON 2027. So it's interesting when you look at it also that way, meaning that I'm sure before you are, you know, your name is drafted somewhere, you are consulted. So,
but they say that they were denied to interrogate the documents that were there before. Interrogation
as we continue this conversation.
Unasema labda majina yaliyoko pale.
But before you go to the server,
no, alikuwa tu anafungua tukiendelea na conversation.
Yeah, I look at how the syllabus have moved. It has moved very fast because 3 entities have come out and raised issues. Branches, a section of them wrote a letter to the CS, explained themselves why action need to be taken as far as Kandanda House is concerned.
Then NSL clubs?
Then came in the finance committee. It also had its own issues.
Yes.
After that came in NEC. So definitely these people, they have been having problems. But just like Cedric has said, they couldn't maybe open up their mouth during that period because maybe they were suffocated. Yeah. And look at those allegations. They claim that the embattled president is the sole signatory of everything related to money matters there. So that really raises a lot of questions. When the former CEO was ousted, Ndege, he was one of the signatory. So it was expected when the new CEO was appointed, even if he was on acting capacity, he should be having some powers to do such work.
So let me ask you, Eshtemi, where we are now, if we you know, the CEO is suspended. If we were to write
the acting CEO.
Acting CEO rather, is suspended. So if we were to write to FIFA on a particular issue, who is going to write that? Who's going to be in communication with FIFA?
It is a catch-22 situation. Maybe that is where we come in, maybe delegation of roles, or rather outlining of those roles. I need to know your JD, what is your JD when you come to this particular federation. Maybe as a CEO, you are entitled to do this and this. And maybe based on what has been come out in the public at the moment, it seems these CEOs and other people around the federation, they are being micromanaged. They're not able to execute their mandate as per their job description. And that's why you're finding ourselves into this scenario. Because look at that 42 million scandal. Honestly, you're risking a population of professional players, fans, in case something happened during a particular tournament, honestly. Over 42 million shillings, it is just sickening, so to say the least.
And before Sedu,
Kwa Sava, kuna mtu ameongelea story kwa Sava.
that's what I wanted to say.